Bobby Gray here with a rare out of the studio Thursday night update. Thanks so much for joining. Can we hear me okay? Am I loud? Am I live? Our hands going up? Let's see, we got 122 people on the call already. Hands are up. You can hear me loud and clear. Good evening, everyone. All right, hold on. I got to see if I can get a special guest in to join us tonight. Here we go. Promote to panelist. Hopefully he'll be back in just a moment as a panelist. Who, you ask? Oh, there he is. He's freshly shaven and he's driving. Don't zoom and drive, bro. Look at that do.
Yep.
Ladies and
Love
gentlemen, I want to welcome Tim Blake to our call. As you know, Tim is a Texas Ranger, and he is a dear friend of mine. He's got a great story about how we met, and he gave, well, I guess it was your nephew or cousin that gave you a real hard time about it for a while because you weren't in the Founders Club, man. You were just a low, what do we call them? Early adopter.
That's correct.
Showing up a little bit late to the party. But anyway, without boring you with all the details, Tim and I met some time ago, and Tim is a salesman amongst salesmen. And I really enjoyed Tim calling me up one day and saying, "Hey man, I want to pitch you on this thing called Texit Coin." And I love that. I love it when I get phone calls from people saying, "Let me tell you about this thing called Texit Coin." And he'd only been in this thing for like, I don't know, a couple days or a week or whatever, very new to it. And, you know, it's always kind of cringy and frustrating to listen to people fumble their way through a Texit Coin pitch. But he calls me up. I'm driving to the airport to drop somebody off. And 20 minutes later, I've heard like the best Texit Coin pitch that I've ever heard in my entire life. And I said, "You nailed it. You nailed it. There's like nothing factually wrong with it. I would give you a suggestion or two, but I'd feel out of line because you did such a great job on your first attempt." And I really appreciated that. It took him a while to earn his way into our Texas Rangers club, but it wasn't long after that before he ended up acquiring himself, out of not just money but hard work, a Founders Club position. And as we think about these different levels and clubs and stuff, it gets a little weird. But the point is that as our project progresses and evolves and improves, we make slight adjustments to it. And anytime there's a slight adjustment, we start kind of a new chapter. And that new chapter, the people that join during that new chapter come in under a slightly different set of rules. We haven't tweaked much, but there are just a couple little things that have changed over the last 68 weeks. And so right now, if you join us and begin your Texit Coin journey as a miner, maybe I should button one of these buttons here. I'm like ready for the beach. I'm usually dressed up ready for the beach, but stuck in an office. Anyway, we had Founders Club, then we had early adopters. We're on launchies. And I'm here to announce tonight, I think we've got 1,200 spots left in the launchies before we switch over to the next chapter. And it's actually funny because there's a lot that's driving that. But the thing that's actually like the real reason for it is that we've got 1,200 printed mission control manuals left. And once I reorder the mission control manuals for the next one, we're going to make a couple small changes to it. And voila, we've got a new group. So we've got 1,200 spots left. I don't want to give you all the details on that right now of exactly what's coming down the road. You'll hear the official version very soon. That's not what tonight's call is about. Tonight's call is about my friend Tim. And Tim, like I said, worked his way very quickly up through the ranks, as I'm sure you already know how easy it is to do. But Tim earned himself the newest and the latest rank today. And there's a very small group of really great people. I mean, we've got so many great people in this thing, but these guys are my absolute favorites. And I call them Lone Star Rangers, right? We called it like a 1-star Ranger at the beginning, and they were like, there's got to be a better name for that. Lone Star Rangers. And a Lone Star Ranger, there were four of them as of this morning, and as of this afternoon, there are now five. And Tim Blake, my dear friend, somebody that's really shown me a lot, taught me a lot, is the newest addition to the Lone Star Rangers. And so I want to congratulate Tim. I asked him if he would spare a couple minutes with us this afternoon to maybe share a word or two if you care. You don't have to if you don't want to. But I want to welcome you again to the Lone Star Ranger Elite status.
Well, I appreciate that, Bobby. I really do. So, yeah, I think, when I first called you up that day and I wanted you to listen to my Texit Coin pitch, because I've always been a firm believer. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't embellishing anything, or, I had everything, on track, and I was really new at it. And, since that point to where I'm at now, I look back, I started January 30th, right? And to think where I am now from where I started, it's just amazing, even in these short few months, right? I just got
Yep.
done, taking a family trip with my wife and my kids. And, people all the time say, "Hey, is this thing real? Right? Is this thing a scam? Is this real? Is it, legit?" And this last week was absolutely real to me, because I took money, I sold some Texacoin, and I paid for an entire family vacation. We rented a 39-foot motorhome and we drove from Texas to Albuquerque, from
Yeah.
Albuquerque to Flagstaff, Flagstaff to San Diego. We parked the RV. We had an Airbnb right off of the beach. It's beautiful out there. We spent 4 or 5 days out there. Then we got back in the RV and we drove to Durango and visited some more family up in the mountains there, spent a night, and then came back to Texas, and we got in at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm a little
So
tired
you're
on
well
that.
rested and you're ready to
Yeah,
get back to it.
but for all the people that are listening tonight that are just, interested and thinking, well, maybe should I get in? Should I not? I've heard a little bit about it. Or maybe you don't know anything about what he's about to present to you. I would just say keep an open mind. This can literally be life changing for you. It's a great community. The people are awesome. And I think that's what makes this project real, is when you start getting involved with something, you like the people, you like what it's about. And then, not to mention, you make a ton of money on the way, but it's the experiences that you get to do because of the opportunity. And I think, Bobby, that's what I really love. And it's something that I gotta say, this has been the only thing that I've ever been a part of, man, that just about anybody can get involved with, right? This isn't,
Yeah.
only accredited investors, that people that are dumping a ton of money in this. These are just regular people like you and me that are in this, that are, trying to do something better for their families. And
Yeah.
that's what makes this project legit. So that's what I love about it.
Well, thank you for that. Those are very kind words. I love a lot of things about it as well, but one of the things that I really love is how easy it is to prove legitimacy for our project. And you and I had a conversation a few minutes ago about, you know, is it a scam? Right. That's the first question that's on everyone's mind as they engage this, whether they're coming out to a meeting or they're showing up for a dinner or something like that. That's what everyone's thinking when they walk in that room. Like, here we go. I'm going to get pitched on another scam. And there's a sales technique that I learned long ago called inoculating. And inoculating is meeting the objections head on before anybody has a chance to bring them up, right? Everyone's thinking it. We might as well get the pink elephant out of the way. And you
Sure.
were asking me whether or not you thought it was a good idea to mention that in the beginning of a presentation. Why would we want to start negative? Is that a good strategy? And I love it. And I was saying to you that, I don't really have a set presentation. It's whatever it is that happens to be relevant as the meeting begins is what's on my mind, is what I talk about. I can't work from a slideshow. You give me a PowerPoint and like a clicker and the whole thing falls apart, man. I stumble through it. Like, does this guy have any idea what he's talking about? Yeah, but just can we turn off the slideshow? Because I don't want to have to match what I'm thinking about to what's on the screen right now. But I love going into meetings starting right there. And it's because it's the $1 million question. The $1 million question on everyone's mind is it a scam? And it literally is the $1 million question, Because if you jump into this thing and you acquire by purchasing, or you acquire by earning with hash power and hash power rewards, 1,000 Texit coin, and we take Texit coin to $1,000 a coin, which is a lofty goal. I get it, but 1,000 times 1,000 is $1,000,000. And if you walk away from
Yep.
the chance to get in and you say, it's a scam, if you make that decision, you're putting at risk $1,000,000. And in the very beginning, it was difficult to overcome those objections because they're fair. It's like, how many times is somebody cooking up a new crypto every day? 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 new cryptos come into existence every day. How do you know that this one is going to be the next one, or at least real? You don't know. I tell people that time is the ultimate arbiter of that question. And we've got a pretty good track record right now. Not only have we been around long enough to know, that our model works, but a lot of people have made good money on this thing so far. And they've made money through either the referral program or they've made money through monetizing Texit Coin. And so that track record is really something that's a huge advantage for us. And it's the reason that we're seeing people not, jumping on and grabbing just one seat anymore, but starting with 3 or 5 or the 9 builder plan. But that $1,000,000 question still exists. And so I wanted to go through it kind of in a little bit more detail, if you don't mind. And you're welcome to turn your camera off and focus on the road and stay tuned in if you like, and jump in as you like. But what is that question? Is it a scam? Is it a Ponzi scheme? Is it a rug pull? Is it a pump and dump? Is it a pyramid? Like, those are the common objections that we get, or concerns that people bring up. And I just want to run through them all real quick and talk about them, because I know if I get those questions, then you're going to get those questions as well. And I think these are fair questions. I think they're fair questions because so many things like that exist in these realms of cryptocurrency. There's a scam around every corner. The realm of affiliate network marketing, there's a slimy scam around every corner in that industry as well. And so the odds are stacked against us, first of all, number one. And number two is, what are the chances that we're the one legitimate thing in this entire, space that's overrun by all these scams and fly-by-nights? So the objections are fair. The concerns are real. And so I want to go through them real quick again on this call, because I'm sure we've got some new people that would like to have those questions answered, especially from Mr. Founder and Fearless Leader. By the way, did I introduce myself? Bobby Gray over here, hanging out in the office. We got new cubicles in here, and so new customer service team is on the way, and that will hopefully improve our relationship with our miners. Even though you guys are making a lot of mistakes, our systems work really well. I bought Texit Coin and it's been 7 hours and hasn't showed up. Well, did you use the correct network? You chose Ethereum, but you paid in Base, or you chose USDC and you paid in Ethereum. It's complicated. I know, people. So we're working through it together. We'll have people in here to help you through those common things that go wrong. But our systems are working pretty well. So let's work together to find resolutions to these things if they come up. But anyway, let's go through it real quick. Let's start with number one. Is it I don't know, where do you want to start? Which one's most common, Tim? I would say the rug pull one might be most common today. What do you think?
Yeah. We get that a lot. What keeps the founder from running away with all the money?
Got it. Okay. So let's talk rug pull for a minute. So rug pull, if you don't know what that phrase means, it means that for some reason the project instantaneously and quite illustriously comes to a drastic conclusion. And there are lots of different rug pulls out there. We call them also exit scams. Like we'll say, well, something went wrong that we didn't think of, and so we're closing up shop and everything's gone. Or we could pretend somebody dies. I've seen that one happen. I think that was the Quadrix thing out of Canada, Gerald something or another, this Canadian exchange. All of a sudden, the guy disappears in India, but there's the death certificate and nothing to see here. So the rug pull is where you build it up and then all of a sudden the founders disappear with all the money. And so what I point to in that example is the block explorer. And if you go to explorer.texitcoin.org, you'll see a history of all the transactions. And remember, the great thing about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, for the most part, for most of them, is how transparent it is. We know where all the crypto is. We know when it's being transferred and moved between different wallets. If you get exotic AI powered software, you can go back through and you can trace it all the way back to the very beginning. But the point is that on that page, you can see what's called the rich list. I think it's a little blue icon on the left side of the screen. You can see the rich list. And in the rich list, you can see who the big holders are, what the wallet IDs are, and how much they have. And what happens is, as our community gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the percentage of Texit coin that's being held by the top 100 wallets actually becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's exactly what we want to see. And what happens as the percentage held by the whales, the guys that got in very early, as we see that percentage get smaller and smaller and smaller, it means that it becomes less and less likely, or more and more difficult, for somebody that got in early to do a big sell and to smash the market price down. And so as our community becomes larger and our payouts become more fragmented, meaning that we're paying out every day in more and more wallets, it increases the fragmentation. It increases the externalization of all the Texit coins that are out there. Remember, our network makes about 95,000 Texit coin every day. And so if all those Texit coin go into one wallet, then there's one person that controls them all. If it goes into two wallets, then one guy, two people are acquiring it. And then as more and more people come in, it makes that pie get divided into smaller and smaller slices. And so as you look at the rich list and you consider the possibility of a rug pull, you got to understand who these people are that are on the top of the list. And you can't tell exactly who they are by name. You can see them by wallet ID, but you could reach a high level of certainty that these are guys that got in earlier, and they're also guys that are doing the most to build out our Texit coin community. And again, I don't want to mention them by names, but the point is that as Texit coin becomes more and more expensive, and as there's fewer and fewer Texit coins at cheap prices on the market to pick up, it becomes more and more difficult to obtain one of those top seats. So we've always said that because of the limitations that we have on the amount of Texit coin mining seats that can be purchased, it means that the people that are going to be mining the most Texit coin are the ones that are going to roll up their sleeves and do the most work to build the Texit coin community. And what that does is it creates this inverse relationship with the likelihood of a pump and dump or a rug pull, because the guys that are doing the most work to build it are the guys that have the least amount of incentive to crash it and destroy it. And so I don't know if that would fall under the pump and dump. No, that's definitely not pump and dump. That's definitely the rug pull or the exit scam. So the guys that are really building the foundation of this community, the guys that are out there running the meetings, the guys that are out there building teams, the guys that are out there, doing the Zoom calls, bringing people together, they're the ones that are earning the most hash power. They're the ones that have the largest handfuls of Texit coin. And those guys, I'm going back to them and saying, look, guys, I need you to sell some of your Texit coin. I know we all know where this thing's going, but we can't all hold on to it forever. And so one of the biggest problems we actually have with Texit coin is that we don't have enough sellers. I know it sounds hard to believe, but there's not enough seller in limit order liquidity, as you look at like Dextrade and Bitmart, to satisfy the appetite of some of the whales that are going to come into our community as time goes by. And so I'm specifically going now to the whales, and there is a whales chat with the guys that have, 3, 4, 500,000 Texit coin. And I'm saying to the whales, look, we need to start peeling off some of our Texit coin to put together packages for us to take to our friends in Asia when we go out to Thailand in September. And we've got, a half a dozen or a dozen commitments so far from people that are saying, all right, I don't want to sell, but the fearless leader over here says that we've got to start making some Texit coin available. So we got to monetize on the way up. And that way that we get more of this Texit coin spread out into more and more wallets. And again, every time that Texit coin gets spread wider and wider and wider, it becomes more difficult for anybody to acquire a large handful of that to dump on the open market and drive the price down. Now, that's one part. The other part is our commitment to liquidity. And what that means is that we're bringing our own cash to the conversation, to the marketplace, and saying, look, this is the liquidity that we have. Not enough to buy back every coin at market price, but it's enough to support our market price. We've got $1 million of USDC right now in a dedicated coin. And we also have, I think, $338,000 of Bitcoin. We've got gold, and we're almost up to our next level, which is $2 million of liquidity. And once I'm able to show you and prove to you that we have that, that's when we stair step the market up to the next level, which I think is $1.95 off the top of my head. Anyway, objection, concern number one, the rug pull. You've got a bunch of people involved in this project that have been committed to the ideals of honest money since I started the American Open Currency Standard back in 2008. So you've got to decide, is this my big money grab, or is this the continuation of my life's work, taking off the horse and gold and silver, horse and buggy blinders, and building ourselves now a digital currency rocket ship using the tools of our time, embracing everything that there is to love about cryptocurrency? Or is this, a easy, quick buck for me? That's, a question that you've got to check in your gut to find the answer to. And again, like, what do we point to prove that this isn't some sort of rug pull exit scam? We point to congressional testimony back in 2012, before most people ever heard about Bitcoin, talking about honest money, complementary currencies, in front of Ron Paul's Domestic Monetary Policy Subcommittee. We talk about, coins we've made, different people we've worked with over the years. We talk about, being familiar on a fundamental type of level with the importance of honest money. And so, again, that's what I point to, and that's what you can point to as well, to give us a little bit of credibility and a lot of authenticity in this conversation. Also, take a look at the fact that my first step into the realm of cryptocurrency was back in 2017 when I started creating the cold storage coins. I didn't have an idea for an ICO. I wasn't out there trying to raise money for something. I was noticing that people were getting into crypto, but they were struggling with hackers and forgotten passwords and crashed hard drives and, all kinds of digital risk. So my contribution to cryptocurrency industry back to 2017 was helping people with an easy to use solution to keep crypto safe. And so between the commitment to honest money, the commitment to community currencies that goes all the way back to 2008, the congressional testimony, and the product that we manufacture that helps tens, hundreds of thousands of people keep crypto safe, I think all of those things point to the possibility, the likelihood that this isn't a rug pull. It's not an exit scam. It's not an easy get rich quick thing for me. The way that we chose to build this thing, it's not a meme token. You can click, click, click a couple times and create Shiba coin or Hawk 2 Girl coin or Trump token. By building a mine, we chose the hardest of hard ways. There's work that goes into it. And I like that because I like doing the hard work. Most other guys are scared away from 480 power and three-phase electric and all the immersion cooling infrastructure that goes into making Texit Coin possible. Not me, not my team. And so if you look at the possibility of the exit scam rug pull, it's unlikely based on the way we've built this and the credibility and authenticity that we bring to the table. So there you go. How's that for concern? Objection number one, the rug pull. If this was going to be a rug pull, we did it the really, really hard way. Number two, what were we saying for number two? The pump and dump? Pump and dump falls kind of into the same category there. It's very similar. It's like, okay, what's our strategy to get this thing up to the $1 billion mark? Are we just going to go out there and hire the influencers, the Mayweathers and the Kanyes and the Kardashians and all those guys to jump on social media and tell the world to buy this thing? No. We may get there someday, but our strategy today is in building the community and building the mind. Foundation for Texit Coin has nothing to do with social media influencers. Again, back to the fact that we're doing this the hard way. We believe that there's a correlation between the size of our mind and the value of our coin. There's also another thing in there, which is the size of the community. Any rich guy can build a 100 million mega hash mine. It's expensive, but if there's not a community of people that are advocating for that mine's and that coin's success, it's worthless. It's absolutely worthless. You're just one of those guys throwing another $1 billion at Bitcoin mining. You tell me you're going to throw $1 billion at Bitcoin mining, I tell you you'll be out of business in 5 years. Because you add $1 billion worth of equipment to the Bitcoin mining network, China adds 10 billion. They will always have the ability to outcompete you because they make the hardware. I saw a TikTok the other night from the All In Podcast guys talking about how much more electricity China is adding to the grid on like a quarterly basis. Like every quarter, they're adding the entire US energy supply to their grid. They're increasing it by that much every quarter. So it means they get cheap electricity, they make the chips. It makes it all but impossible for America to compete in the realm of Bitcoin, which means we have to do it different. And if we're going to do it different, why not do it better? Texit Coin. So when we look at the possibility of the pump and dump, we say, no, no, no. We're looking at building a mine, building a community, and those two things combined build the value and the interest in the coin. Now, we have to use the coin. There has to be real utility there. And of course, we've got all kinds of things lined up for later with utility. It's phase 2 for us, the community currencies and stable coins that'll be built on the TXC blockchain. A lot of fun and very easy to do, especially given my background. That's the stuff that I'm really excited about because I know how to do it so well and nobody else does. So that's how I deal with the question of whether or not it's a pump and dump, right? We're not investing today in influencers. We're investing in real people, building a real mine that'll service real network needs of the ecosystem that's coming together as we build out this fun thing that's Texit Coin. So that's my answer for the pump and dump. Let's move on to the question of the pyramid, right? And the pyramid's a fun one because when I started this and I went back to my friends, Chris Beck and Andrea, my precious metals guys, all the guys that would have never been caught dead in a network marketing company, they're like, look, just call it an affiliate program and you're going to be fine. I'm like, well, it's really much more than an affiliate program. I mean, I've done affiliate programs in the past and they never work. There's this much teeny tiny little bit of incentive out there. People get bored. They don't do it. So we really need to borrow some concepts from some projects out there that have done exactly what we want to do successfully in the past. Now they've crashed and burned, of course, because they made terrible mistakes, but we got to learn from those mistakes the same way that I did when I started the open currency standard. It was like, yo, the Liberty Dollar just got busted. The founder's going to jail. He's in jail right now. And you're going to do the exact same thing? No, 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 no. He was breaking the law. He did it illegally. So how about we not break the law and not do it illegally, and then we don't have to worry about getting busted and going to jail. So when you say network marketing, when you say MLM, oh man, the warning signs go off. Is this a pyramid scheme? This is what we don't want. So I said, look, guys, I understand the concerns. I would never be caught dead in a network marketing company myself. I've been pitched enough times. I've been around them long enough to know what to absolutely despise about them. And so why don't we just cut out all the stuff that people don't like? The auto ship. That's number one for me. The auto ship is the fact that you got to pay every month, month in, month out, in order to maintain your status and position. Next thing you know, you got a garage full of whatever it is that's being peddled, and you quit. And then you get bored, and then you go, not worth it. Let's eliminate that. Let's make this a one-time fee. Well, it'll never work if it's a one-time fee. It's going to be a one-time fee. That's it. You don't ever have to put anything else in if you don't want to. That's it. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. We got plenty of people in Texit Coin that just want to mine residual Texit coins and sell them every day on the open market. You get about $5 a day per seat. That means about 200 days later, your seat's paid off and you get to mine Texit Coin forever, for the rest of your life, for 136 more years. And you don't have to tell anybody about it if you don't want to. A lot of people join and they say, I would never do your shady referral, non-MLM, MLM thing, but can my brother join? Is it all right if a couple guys from work want to? Yeah, but you're kind of doing that referral thing. And so the accusation about a pyramid scheme is a real thing because, the consumer protection bureaus, the attorney general, they love to go after those pyramid schemes and shut them down. At the core, a pyramid scheme is one of those multi-level things. You start drawing the pyramids and the circles and the lines on a board where the guys at the top make all the money and the guys at the bottom never get anything. In fact, if you look at the Direct Selling Association, that's the MLM, they call it direct sales. You look at the Direct Selling Association's own statistics and reports, they will tell you that if you join a network, there is less than a 1% chance that you will get back your original money that you put in. Less than 1%. I haven't checked recently, but the last time I looked, we were at 17% of the people that are in Texit Coin have gotten already at least their original money back. And of course, 17% is not, anything to brag about. I'd like everybody to do that. And I think most people at this point can, at least the ones that got in, 2, 3, 4 months ago. But but there's a difference between a active, builder on the rocket ship and somebody that's kind of just a passive rider. And what we designed is something that it's totally fine for you to be a passenger on the ship. And just, you put the blindfold on, you just you lean back in your chair, you hit the snooze button, wake me up in February when we get to 16. And that's great because those people are helping us get towards our goal. So we want those guys. We need those guys for this thing to be successful. But I would argue that anybody that wants to roll up their sleeves and do a little bit of work can be successful with this thing. It's just a matter of time. If you need an example, my dad is the best example. Mr. I am not a salesman. Mr. I could never sell anybody anything. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. My dad's a good guy. He's an honest guy, but he's not a salesman. He's not. And if he's listening, I'm sorry, Dad. Love you. But my dad's starting to perform. My dad's starting to do it, in fact, actually quite well. Why? Because he brought on his children. He brought on 7 of his 8 children. I don't remember when, but it was early. He didn't buy me in. Figured I was already good. But he brought on his kids, and then the kids had their kids and the grandkids. He brought on 16 or 15 or 16 grandkids at one point. And then my siblings are starting to notice that Texit Coin is not so scammy after all. And those billboards all over DFW are looking at them funny. And it started at 20 cents, and then it was 80, and then it was $1, and then it was $1.20, and now it's at $1.75 all of a sudden. And they've got friends that are asking them about it. And all of a sudden now, my dad, Bob Gray, is starting to see his, his investments in this project begin to pay off. And he's got plenty of Texit Coin as well. But the point is that, it takes time. We get messages all the time from people that say, just got this picture from somebody that was a hard no, saw it in DFW Airport, saw it in Austin Airport, saw it going down the highway. And all of a sudden now they're interested. It's okay. But the point is that a pyramid scheme is a model that's designed for the guys at the top to make all the money and the guys down at the bottom to not get anything. Our system is flipped. It's reversed. It's designed where the normal guy, the average guy, can do just as well as the guy all the way up top. We have one simple thing built in to make sure that that stays true. We have a max. We have a cap. No tracking center in our deal is able to make more than $3,000 per week. That's it. It's capped. And so the guy that's all the way down at number 473 is able to make just as much money or more than the guy that's all the way at the top, which is me. My right leg has not been doing much at all until quite recently. In fact, in the last week, it's done very, very well. My daughter and Trey went out and met with some people and are starting to become evangelists now of Texit Coin, doing a great job building on their side of the tree. Got my daughter over there on my right side, and all of a sudden he sees the connection between the work that she can do and the results that she get, and she's doing it and she's building it. And I'm very proud of her. But the point is that I haven't been getting commission for the last couple of weeks. The guy all the way at the top, if my one side's not matching what's happening on the other, I don't get paid. And so we build a system that's extremely fair. We get a lot of negative feedback about it from master network marketers that go, there's just not enough meat on the bone. If I can't make $500,000 the first month, I'm not interested. And I say, look, if you can make $500,000, it means that I'm not paying out $500,000 to all the guys down at the bottom that are doing all the work. And that seems just patently unfair to me. And that is what's called a pyramid scheme. And so we eliminated that possibility completely by putting a cap in place. That's it. That's all we had to do. There's a cap. That's it. So we got top guys like Chris Beck. He's the top earner in our whole deal. He doesn't make more than $3,000 a week. He does get a Texit Ranger $1,000 weekly bonus, as our new Texit Ranger, Lone Star Texit Ranger, Tim will as well. but that's it. And so the guy that's doing the work, that's helping get this thing started, that's brand new to our deal, has the ability to get a check right away. And the guys that come to me and they ask me to bend my ear and give me some suggestions on the comp plan, they come back to me a couple of weeks later and they go, don't change a thing. Don't change a thing. Guys, if you're out there and you want to chip in on a little or chime in a little bit on that, you're welcome to. But I think that they see what I see, which is everyone has the ability to win with this thing. Whether you're winning through earning commission or you're winning through the stacking of Texit Coin and monetizing that on the open market, then it's all good, and we encourage you to win either way, and preferably both ways. I ask people, show of hands, how many people have sold Texit Coin on the open market, bought yourself a cup of coffee, paid for lunch, whatever? Like, if you're not turning over the Texit Coin, monetizing your Texit Coin, then you really haven't gone through that cycle the whole way to know that it's real. But again, back to the question, is it a pyramid scheme? No. And it's very easy to tell people that it's not a pyramid scheme because we have that cap in place. Now, if you're a builder and you pick up the builder plan that comes with 3 tracking centers and you build each one of those tracking centers, it's not easy to go supernova on all 3 of those. Supernova, of course, meaning that you've maxed out the comp plan. You could earn up to $9,000 a week. So there's some meat on the bone. $9,000 a week times 52 weeks a year is still $450,000. But I look at it on the other end. I say, how many people would be really grateful about having an extra $1,000 a month? If you could earn $1,000 a month, could that take some pressure off in your life? How many people would consider their life to be fundamentally changed if they made an extra $1,000 a week? An extra $52,000 a year is an amazing amount of money for a lot of people in our deal. But to be able to max out at $3,000 a week, $156,000 a year, to think that as we build out this program, the mine, fill up the seats on the rocket ship, will pay out up to $500 million, $500 million in cash commission as your incentive to help us build this thing and grow. It's an incredible amount of money. Last week, week 67, $710,000 of commission was earned. I can tell you and prove to you exactly where that commission went. $339,000 of it went into buying additional hash power in our BOGO program. Was it 255 or 200? I don't remember the numbers, but it's like $249,000 of USDC was paid out. And then we had the balance was paid out in Texit Coin. You can see those the same way that I can see them. Check with somebody that got a commission. Look at the transaction ID. All the commissions are paid out in a single transaction. So you can see exactly where all that money's going. It's a beautiful blockchain thing. But the point is that this system, yes, it smells like network marketing. Yes, we even call it network marketing sometimes. We understand the full consequences of saying that. Even the network marketing guys tell us, stop calling it network marketing. We're not afraid of it because we're doing it the right way. And the right way is to not be a pyramid, to set it up so that the guy at the top makes just as much as the guy that comes in all the way down the bottom. That's what a pyramid is. Those are illegal. They get busted. We have no concern whatsoever because there's nothing illegal about affiliate marketing. There's nothing illegal about network marketing. There's nothing illegal about referral marketing. Whatever you want to call it, there's nothing illegal about it. But there's plenty that's illegal with a pyramid scheme. And if we design a system that's going to prevent you from getting something back out of this deal, you're not going to help us grow. And that's a very simple premise that we build into this thing from day one. We want you to win with this project. We want you to get as much out of it as you possibly can. The more you're getting out of it, the more excited you're going to be about it. The more likely you are to go out and share our story with other people. I mean, it's just common sense stuff, guys. But this is what you get from a compensation plan that wasn't designed by a network marketer. Never done it before. It's my first time. And now I might be running a company that's got the best thing going in the entire industry. Why? Because it's real. It's honest. Anybody can do it. I love it. Hopefully you love it as well. But that's the question about the pyramid scheme. Is it a pump and dump? No. We're not paying influencers to jack the price up on the open market so that you can sell. Our coin works more like a stable coin. And we've already documented our exact strategy. Go onto the help desk, look at the article, The Path to 16. It's there in black and white. Tells you exactly what we're doing. We're taking what I did with the open currency standard, and we're taking Metcalfe's law with digital tools to stair step our way up to $1 billion coin. It's easy to do. Nobody else has done it before. I don't know why, but we're doing a lot of things different. It's not a rug pull. This is a continuation of my life's work for the last 17 plus years in the realm of honest money and equal exchange of value. Now on a digital currency rocket ship. All I changed out was the medium of exchange. That's it. It took me a long time to see what I was missing with crypto, but I was really missing it, guys. Crypto gives us a financial technology that may just be the best form of money that planet Earth has ever seen. You can't counterfeit it. You can send it from one side of the world to the other almost instantaneously, almost for free, without even having to go through a bank. You can take one Bitcoin or one Texit coin and split into a million different pieces almost instantaneously, almost for free. It is perfect money. It took me the better part of a dozen years to admit that. So I don't expect you to agree with me overnight. Try to open your mind up a little bit and think about how we can use these powerful digital tools to put the issuance and control of money back in the hands of the people. It's not a pyramid. The guy at the bottom can make just as much as the guy at the top. And it's not a Ponzi scheme. This is the last one I'll cover because usually it's the most in depth, but we're not borrowing money. What we're doing is we're selling seats on a rocket ship. We're crowdsourcing our mind. If we're not borrowing money and promising a specific rate of return, then we don't have to worry about taking money from the new guy to pay back the old guy. That's the Ponzi scheme. That's the classic Ponzi. We promise the world, we can't deliver it. There's no, possible way that we could possibly deliver on these exponential returns. And so we got to bring new money in to pay back the old money. How do I know that that's the case for sure? Because if we stop selling next week, we'd pay out $0 in commission. 3 sets every week, every Saturday night, 7 o'clock, we start a new week. So if you guys say, no, I'm not promoting it, I don't have to pay anybody any commission. We settle that up every week. Every week at Saturday, 7 o'clock, the week closes out. Commissions are paid by 5 o'clock the following Wednesday. Now, as you guys are getting better at this and our systems are getting better, we're going to start advancing the payout schedule. Right now, it's Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Then it'll be Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Then it'll be Monday at 5 o'clock. Then it'll be Sunday at 5 o'clock. And then it'll be instantaneous. Saturday night, 7 o'clock, the week closes, commissions are calculated, everyone's paid. That means you got to have your USDC address set up. That means we have to have all the settings working properly. But that's the goal. The goal is the week closes out and you get paid. I want the smallest barrier whatsoever between you, your work, and the results. The better I can do that, the more encouraged you'll be and the more confident you'll be that we're doing a good job. Saturday night rolls around, we count it all up, we buy the hardware, we pay out the commissions, we put the money aside for marketing and promotion. I just paid another $233,000 today for our Houston Airport Intercontinental and Houston Hobby Airport advertising. Fun. It's real fun. As the money gets bigger, the spend gets bigger, and it's just so cool that the connection between the work that we do and the result that we want is so small, and it's getting smaller every day. I love it. We need more ideas. We had a great call yesterday with somebody that said, what about advertising on airplanes? The screens that people have on their seats for domestic and international travel. We can get you on there. We can get you on the Uber rides and the cars. We can get you here, there, and everywhere else. Great. We want it all. We want everyone everywhere to know that the most exciting and the most real thing in the whole cryptocurrency space is right here in Texas, Texit Coin. So those are the common objections and questions and accusations that we get. Is it a pyramid? Is it a Ponzi? Is it a pump and dump? Is it a rug pull? Not a meme coin. We're not basing this project off of its collectability or its scarcity like everybody else does. It's a real coin with real people doing real work. And when you can go and connect with someone at a restaurant or a meetup and look them in the eye and have a moment to decide whether or not they're being honest with you, nothing beats that. Everyone's looking for the next big thing in crypto. Nobody knows what it is. I think we've got it. 68 weeks in, I'm pretty sure of that now. Back in the beginning, it was a little risky. It wasn't for everybody. I didn't really want to take money from people I didn't know. Today, I'm very confident that we have a very real project. It's got a ton of momentum behind it. I know exactly where we're going. I know exactly how to get there. And there is absolutely nothing standing in our way. There never has been. Everything that we need to be successful, we already have. We don't need a law to get passed. We don't need to get lucky. We don't need, oh man, I feel like I'm not recording this. We don't need anything externally. We need the world to keep spinning the way it's spun for the last couple million years. And as long as that happens, we're going to be just fine. I did forget to record it. What a shame. That's Texit Coin in a nutshell. And the $1 million question is whether or not you think that we're telling you the truth. Because if we are, and I'm right, and we take this thing up to the top 10 where it belongs, I mean, look at the top 10. 20% of the coins in the top 10 are a joke. You got things like USDT, and nobody knows if there's $140 billion wherever backing that thing up. You got XRP, which is a kind of a CBDC in crypto sheep's clothing. Centralized coin, nobody really knows. It's not mineable. It's kind of made for the banks. Eerie how popular that coin is. We got the best of XRP, Litecoin, Doge built into one. A great system, a great plan, a great mind, a great state, great people. And I cannot for the life of me, and I've been searching for the Achilles heel since day one. I cannot for the life of me see what could prevent us and the industry from becoming a top 10 crypto. $1,000 a coin. I can look you in the eye. I can tell you that I know exactly how to get this thing to 16,000. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some work, and it's going to take the industry, the crypto industry, mostly in Japan, Korea, and China, to like what we're doing. But I think they will. Spent 7 years over in Asia. I know that culture pretty well. I know that they love freedom. I know that they love Western culture. I know that they love crypto. I know they love gambling. And I know that they really love honest and good trade. And that's our message. Trade with all. So we'll put on the Trade with All, the Texit Coin Trade with All Summit on Sunday, September 28th in Bangkok. Feel free to spread the word to your friends over on that side of the globe. We'd love to have them come out and join us for an evening in the Big Mango, as they call it. We'll be well rested and ready to introduce Texit Coin to our friends in Asia when that goes down. But that's the $1 million question. Is it a scam? And I'd like you to do the research. I'd like you to discover the answer to that question on your own. If you've got an open mind and you're willing to take a little bit of a leap of faith, do some research, do your due diligence, watch the videos, talk to some people that are involved, find out what they really think. Find out how it's going for them, what their experience is. Determine whether or not it's a good idea for you to participate. Remember, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. We know where we're going. We know how to get there, but it's going to take time. It's not an overnight, thing that we're expecting. Why? Because if it jumps up fast and it crashes hard the next day, then we're all going to be kind of pissed off. Let's get to that point slowly but steadily. February of 2026, our goal is 16. I'm very confident that we can reach that goal. That's not the end, ladies and gentlemen. That is just the beginning. It's proof of concept. We're going to the world and we're telling the world that we are the next big thing in crypto. When we show the world that we've built 100 million megahash mines spread out and decentralized all over the state of Texas, when we've got the better part of 1 million people in our community, when we've got the better part of a $200 million marketing and promotion budget, when we've got 100 million in liquidity, when we have all these things going for us, we're on exchanges, we're traded, we're the whole thing. I cannot see how it would not be possible to go at least up to the top 20. That would put us at $400 or $500 a coin. But decide for yourself whether or not it's a journey that you'd like to take. Come with us. Let's hold your hand and let's get you into crypto. We primarily market this project to people that missed out on Bitcoin. We're not advertising this to the crypto bros. We are promoting this to people that, that didn't understand Bitcoin, maybe had a chance to get in early and didn't. But we're really presenting this to people that are just ready for a lucky break, just ready to have a little bit of fun, make some new friends, and make some money. This whole thing is about money, and that's a difficult conversation for some people. It's not for me. I'm a big fan of money. my friend Rafael Cruz will tell you three things about money. It's better to have it than not have it. It's better to have more of it than less of it. It's better to have it sooner rather than later. And I couldn't agree more with all those things. So if you want to have fun, if you want to make some new friends, and if you want to make some money, join us at Texit Coin. We're pretty sure you'll be very glad you did. I'm Bobby Gray. I'm the founder of Texit Coin. I join you every Tuesday night for a miners only update. That's where we share behind the scenes information. We go through our sales reports and our numbers and our budgets and our spends and all that stuff. We talk about the good stuff. We talk about the bad stuff. Not everything goes to plan. We change things from time to time. We make adjustments based on the real world data that we acquire. And so we're doing well, but we don't know it all. And so we're learning along the way. And it's important for us to be upfront with you and our community about what those things are. That's Tuesday night. That's our time to directly connect and go through all your questions. Thursday night is introduction to Texit Coin. We talk about new stuff. We talk to new people. We also take your questions. And we've got 22 of them so far in there. So let's get into the Q&A part of the program. And see what we've got. No chat, says Robbie Rob. We are chatting right now. Hi, Bobby, says Mock. Hi, Mock. John says, greetings from Orange. Hello there, John. Anonymous, I reached out to a close friend that lives in Texas to share Texit. Long story short, she said Texit is all smoke and mirrors. It is a meme coin, and there is nothing to mine. Okay. She says she knows you and said you run because give it another year, you will be going to jail. I took it all with a grain of salt, but what do we say to people like this? Look, guys, I would say everything that we just talked about in the last 51 minutes. Always, the proof is in the pudding. And like I said, time is the ultimate arbiter. There are lots and lots of people that accuse Bitcoin of being the most terrible things on planet Earth. And some of those people still make those accusations today. But other people, they understood it. They looked at it as a financial technology. They got in with, a sensible investment or risk. And maybe they're very grateful that they did today. So that is what I would say to those folks. Hopefully that answers your question, anonymous attendee. EV says, will you please ask Tim to share his pitch on his call, please? Tim, you want to go through a quick 5-minute pitch?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me your pitch, Tim.
One of the things that I've been sharing with now, and somebody else gave me this that I really like, somebody that I work with, but sometimes for people that are new to crypto and they really don't understand it, understanding what mining is and what hash power is a little foreign. But a lot of people understand what horsepower is in an engine, right? So really, to boil this down, what we're building is a large engine, right? What the mine is, we're building a mining engine. We're building 100 million horsepower engine, right? Every seat that is sold, that is 100 horsepower of that engine, right? You can buy up to 9 seats. That's the max amount that is allowed right now, right? Or is it? That's something coming soon. So, but for 9 seats that is purchased, you can get 900 horsepower of that engine. Now, as you share it with people and help build the engine, you can do that unlimited amount, right? But for every seat that's sold, it's 100 horsepower. We're going to sell 1 million seats. That's going to get this engine to 100 million horsepower engine or 100 million mega hash mining operation, right? Once that's complete, now the sky's the limit. Now there's all these wonderful things that can be done with it. All these cities, all these businesses that can use the blockchain, right? They can use the engine. The question to yourself is how much of that engine that you purchase or help build, whatever that accumulates by the time we sell the last seat, is what your reward will be for the rest of your life. Every day you get rewarded with coins, and it's based on your hash power or your horsepower of that engine. So the more that you help build, the more that you will get rewarded. I'll give you a quick example. So I had somebody else that works with me, and he shared this with me, but we joined about the same time, Bobby. And at that point, compared to where he is and where I'm at, he's actually 3 times his money, and he hasn't told a soul. He hasn't done anything with it. He got in when it was 20 cents, just like I did, right? But he didn't really share it with anybody. So in looking at his app and what he has, he's 3 times his money. He's done very well. Me, on the other hand, I've been sharing this with the world, right? I do Zoom calls. I help my team. We help share this with the community to grow the community, right? I have 18 times my money, my investment, and it's only been what, 6 months.
Yeah.
So you can do, you'll get out of this project what you put into it. And I
Yeah.
don't just mean monetarily. If you start seeing the vision and you start seeing the community and what this is all about, and you want to share this, then you will have an opportunity to build more of that engine. And
Yeah.
that's what we're all looking to do. Right. So
Yeah, but you're going to dump, right? You're going to crash the market and run. And...
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm in it for the long haul. That's one of the things. I've got a plan, right? Everybody has their own tolerance level or what their plan or what they want to get out of this, right? And that's
Yeah.
what's wonderful. You start really dreaming and start really thinking about what this could actually come up with. You know, everybody has a Bitcoin story, right? Everybody knows, almost everybody. They say, you know, I remember when somebody, you know, told me about it when it was $100, right? Or $1,000. Look at it right now. As this was going, I was looking at the, you know, Ethereum just hit over $3,500. You know,
Wow.
Bitcoin, you know, whatever Bitcoin is right now. But if you had a chance to go back in time and buy Bitcoin when it was $100, that's what you're giving the people the opportunity to do right now. You know,
Yeah.
nobody's getting into Bitcoin looking for that 1,000x return. People are
Yeah.
buying Bitcoin now because it's digital gold. They're buying it that it's going to maybe double or triple or something like that. For people that get involved with this, they have an opportunity of almost 1,000x on Texit Coin. That's
Yeah.
what you have the opportunity. So one other thing that I'll just share with you too, you know, when we start saying, hey, you know, is this a scam and all this other stuff, you just have to look at whatever your risk tolerant is. If whatever you put into this, if that was gonna, if you lost it, would it crush you financially? The answer is, well, then don't do it, right?
Yeah.
But you have an opportunity that almost anybody can get in for $1,000. Now, if you want to put $9,000 in or whatever it is that you want to put in, you can do that, right? But one of two things are going to happen come February of 2026. You're going to remember this call for those of you that are on here right now, and you were wondering, should I get in or should I not? Well, one of two things is going to happen. One, you're going to look back and be like, man, I dodged a bullet. I'm so glad I didn't get involved. That project crashed and burned, right? That's option one. Or option two, you're going to be like, I can't believe it. I did it again. I missed that
was
opportunity.
Right there in my face. Everyone was telling me about it.
Yep.
And I
Somebody,
didn't do it.
so-and-so shared it with me. They were telling me all the time I should have gone in and I didn't do it. And I could have made a ton of money. That could have been the one, right? It could have been, it could have been my Bitcoin, right? So the question you have to ask yourself, for those of you that listen on the call, is which side of the coin do you want to be on come February of 2026? And why is it February of 2026? Because that's where Bobby's taking this to a top 100 crypto coin. And it's just math. He's selling $1,000 a seat. We're going to sell 1 million seats by February of 2026. That's $1 billion market cap. $1 billion market cap. Now you look at what is the circulating supply of coins that are going to be out there. Because it's not unlimited coins, right, Bobby? There's only about 90 to 100,000 coins produced a day. Well, by February of 2026, there's going to be typically somewhere around 62,500,000 coins. So for those of you out there listening on the call, you could take your calculator right now. You take $1 billion, divide it by 62,500,000 coins, and that comes up to $16. That's a $16 valuation. We're sitting at $1.75 right now, people.
It's easy math as well, because, you know, if you want to make $1 million with this thing, I mean, and you are highly confident we're going to $16, you got to have 62,500 coins. And it's like, well, man, that's a lot. I gotta pay a lot of money for that many coins. Well, yeah, you can buy it, but you can also earn it, and it's very earnable between now and February. I mean, you gotta roll up your sleeves, you got to do the work, but it's very possible with, you know, the BOGOs and the 1-2 frees and the 1-2 free fast starts. I mean, you were saying like you can make 1,000x on Texit Coin still today. Like that's a realistic thing. I would say 500x is very realistic, because I know I can take this thing to some dizzying heights. My goal is 1,000, but that's if you don't do anything. Like if you roll up your sleeves and you start building up some hash power, you acquire more coins, then, you know, you got 10,000 or 100,000x return. When you think about some of the guys that got in very early, that bought in with $1,000 that are sitting on, you know, big chunks of coins today. They're monetizing those coins as we go so that there's more liquidity for the market. But the point is that if you come at this with a strategy to stack coins, there are plenty of coins to stack between now and February of 2026. And I love the horsepower, hash power thing. It's amazing how similar those two words are and how similar those two ideas are. And I just never thought about it. Or we're building a hash power. What's a hash power? Well, it's a
Yep.
exotic math, blah, blah, blah. Man, we're building an engine. And this engine's going to have 100 million horsepower. And if you want to help build the engine, you can buy a little piece of that. That gives you 100 horsepower, and you can build out on top of that. And man, you might have a 20,000 horsepower contribution to that. And I know you got your eye set on that 1 million horsepower goal.
Absolutely. I'll tell you guys this too. For those of you that listen on the call and you're like, well, I don't know that many people. I don't think that I'd be able to share this with a bunch of people. What you'll find out is it doesn't take a whole lot of people. This is not like any other multi-level marketing thing where you have to buy all the lotions, potions, perfumes, deodorants, supplements. You don't have to do any of that and peddle that to your friends. All you're doing is talking about money, talking about an opportunity, right? Talking about taking a leap of faith and joining a community. And all it takes is just a few people. And then we help those people find a few people that find a few people. And then you see it just starts turning into something. I mean, it really does. It's easier than what you think. And for those people that are listening right now and be like, hey, $1,000 extra a week or a month or whatever sounds really good. I mean, it's pretty darn easy to average $2,000 or $3,000 a week with this project. I mean, it really is.
By design, some people won't get it. They never will. Some people won't get into it. I remember when my buddy was on his knees begging me to get into crypto back in 2014 over my dead body. Not now, not ever. And now, man, I absolutely love it. It's changed my life. It's changed a lot of people's lives that I know. And it is just the beginning. We're 4% today of the way built. That's how far along we are. We filled 40,000 of those seats. So it's not brand new anymore, and it's got a lot of weight behind it. It's moving fast, and it's about to start moving even more quickly because we just keep ramping up the ad spends. The ad spend puts us in front of more people. It makes it easier to talk to people about it. Those hard no's come back at, oh, all right, I'll get in $1.75. All right. So it's moving very quickly in the right direction, and we don't expect to be small and ignored for very much longer at all. Thanks for the pitch. I'm going to jump back to the Q&A.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
If you like. All right. So there's Tim's pitch. Horsepower. It's horsepower. What about taxes that need to be done? You got to check with your own tax professionals because I don't know anything about that. The rules keep changing, and what were the things that we were talking about before are totally different now. There's also been conversation about no taxes on made in America cryptos. So again, you'll have to just stay tuned to what those things are. Yes, but can I take off with all the money people are spending on mining packages? You've taken in millions alone from that. Yes. You want to know where the money goes? And here's the deal, guys. I make very good money on this project. Very good money. Our budget's simple, right? We've got a pie. 50% of it is earmarked for commission. 20% is earmarked for promotion and marketing. 10% is earmarked for liquidity. 10% is earmarked for building the mine. And 10% is earmarked for our overhead. The money that I get to consider as my profit is the difference between our overhead costs and what we actually have budgeted, right? So like last week, I'll give you an example. Last week, we did 1.529 million in sales. Payroll last week was $79,000, right? It's 89,000, 80,000. What is that? 70 grand is the part that I get to keep. In addition, we're set aside from all the other budgetary numbers that we have for commissions and for promotion and for liquidity and for all the other things that we do. So my promise to you is I do three things with the money. I build the mine, I pay the commissions, and I promote the coin. I can prove that I've done all three of those things exactly what I've said. Now, if you were on Tuesday's call, you'll remember that we're going to start bringing new people to the Tuesday call to give you their report. I know you're hearing it from me, and I know I bring receipts to the conversation and post them in our Telegram group, but I also want you to hear from the other people that we've brought on to manage the money, to promote the coin, to build the mine. You got to hear it from them, right? It's not that what I'm saying isn't real unless somebody else backs me up. I could be paying my boy to say some nice things, but the more feet that you have to hold to the fire, the more likely it is that we're doing what we say we're going to do. I'm making very, very good money. Don't worry about me. Moving on. Are these webinars recorded that we can share? This one's not. I forgot to record it. Then what's the benefit of buying early? Well, it's the same thing as Bitcoin, right? You can get into Bitcoin today. It's very possible, very likely that Bitcoin's going to go from 100 to 200, 200 to 400, 400 to 500. It'll take time. It's going to cost a ton of money for infrastructure for it to get there, but you're not going to 10 or 100 or 1,000x your money on Bitcoin. The way that you 10 or 100 or 1,000x your money in crypto is you find a project that's very small. It's very much more possible for a project that's at 2.8 cents to go to $10 than it is for Bitcoin to go from 100,000 to 100 million. Maybe that happens over time, but the point is that if you find a project that's still young, still early, still in its infancy, still on its way up, then there's much more upside, much more risk, but also much more upside as well. All right, let's keep scrolling down the list. Can you discuss the Wrap TXC ERC20? Well, it's supposed to go live tonight. We may be pushing it till tomorrow because we're debating about how to do the wrapping, whether the wrapping should be dynamic or the wrapping should just have a locked cold storage wallet that's holding all the other stuff. There's pros and cons of each one. We're looking a little bit more at it, but it'll definitely go live by the end of this week. So Wrap Texit Coin, and we've got a great article about it on the help desk. Is Texit Coin going to places where before Texit Coin couldn't go? And the places that we want it to go are places like MetaMask, places like Uniswap, places like Coinbase. If you go into Coinbase, you can find all kinds of goofy meme coins on there. And you say to yourself, man, how did Squirrel Coin get its way onto Coinbase, but a project that's legitimate based in Texas like Texit Coin can't get onto Coinbase? It's a very easy answer to that question. Any project that's built on the Ethereum blockchain could be listed on Coinbase tomorrow. Why? Because Coinbase automatically lists projects that have volume, that have volatility, that have interest in communities. They don't have to do any kind of technical integration to actually support any of these ERC20 tokens like Squirrel Coin. So we launched what's called a Wrap Texit Coin. It means that these Texit Coin over here on the TXC blockchain are frozen, and voila, they magically reappear as WTXC on the Ethereum chain. We might also release a version on the Binance chain, so we get into Binance the same way that we could get on to Coinbase. So these things are able to move around and circulate and get traded on the Ethereum network at where places that the Texit Coin can never go, right? Like you go into your MetaMask and you click on swap, you choose WTXC, and you can instantaneously trade out right there through the app. So the Wrap Texit Coin gives us the ability to travel to all the places that the Ethereum network currently goes. It's confusing stuff, it's techie stuff, but what it does is it opens us up to the entire Ethereum ecosystem. And where the rubber hits the road is, let's say you're talking to somebody in Japan and they go, oh, Texit Coin, very interesting. And how do I get it? And you go, well, you got to set up an account on dex-trade.com or Bitmart. And they go, well, I don't use those. I use MetaMask and Uniswap and all these other things. If we're not on those places, then it's unlikely that they're going to be interested enough to pursue it and set up a new account and go somewhere else to find it. So we want to make it as easy and as accessible for somebody to get their hands on a handful of Texit Coin. That's what the Wrap Texit Coin does for us, and it is coming very soon. Not tonight, but tomorrow. Hopefully that answers your question. Kelly says, I'm not a young man. I'm 65. I'm a business owner for 36 years. I've never seen or participated in a program where everyone makes money with a one-time cost, no additional cost, and those who do roll up their sleeves get rewarded handsomely. And a founder that is unique as this program. He is transparent, generous, and works harder than any of us. Yeah, I work really hard. I don't know if it's harder than any of you, but I'm pretty hard. You simply will not find anything like Texit Coin anywhere. Not a question, just something I had to say. Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, look, there's an article on the help desk about red flags and green flags. We know what the risks are. We know what the things are that people are going to point out. They're going to set up, troll websites that point out all the, terrible things about us. That's fine. We can't, battle lies 24/7. There's just not enough bandwidth for it. But we also know what the green flags are. The green flag, number one, is that you know who I am. Do you know who runs Tether? Do you know who's in charge of Shiba Coin? And these are top cryptos. And a lot of times you don't know who the people are behind them. And so the fact that you have a person who you can look in the eye and have their feet held to the fire that's going to be accountable for this thing that's based in the USA in Texas. My address is on the website. It's a really big green flag. You can look at me and be like, that's an obvious scam artist right there. Okay. But at least you get to see me. At least you get somebody to look at that says, yeah, I'm the guy, right? Patting myself on the back a little bit. I'm telling you that I'm the man a little bit, but I'm also reminding you that I'm a real person and it's a real project. And if you look at the things that I've done over the last 17 years, you'll see the connection between what I did then and what I'm doing now. I didn't just show up here to get rich quick. All right, scrolling down. Thanks, Kelly, for those kind words. Appreciate that. P.S. Thank you for rejecting the high and mighty MLMer who thinks about themselves. Look, they're not all bad people, right? They're actually really great people. But here's my thought. My thought on that goes like this. Most professional networkers have been in a lot of deals, right? Maybe you got into Amway at 17 and you never quit, and it's been around forever and ever and ever. But most professional networks have been in a lot of different programs. They've seen some really good ones and they've seen some really bad ones. And they sometimes forget that the really, really, really bad ones are the ones that paid them the most money. If we designed a compensation plan that paid out 150%, anybody would have to look at that, scratch their head and say, how are you paying out that much? If you bring in this much and you're paying out that much, isn't it just a matter of time before that ends badly? And the answer, of course, is yes. And so I think what happens with most professional networkers, and guys, please forgive me if I'm wrong, they show up and they don't expect a project to be around for very long. And they say, look, if I'm going to get involved and I'm going to put my name and my reputation and my family and my friends on the line, I want to get paid. And it's a reasonable thing. I totally understand it. I'd want to do the same thing too if I was them. If I'm going to have to make up with my brother-in-law and give him an extra big birthday present this year for the scam thing that I got him into, I'm going to want to have some extra cash sitting around to do that. I think what happens is those guys come in and they have the same benefit, they have the same doubt as the other people do. And then they stick around. They're like, oh, this is weird. This is different. Okay. Don't change it. Okay, it's good. So don't be too hard on them, because there are lots of things in this world that are terrible. And it's unlikely that you came across one by accident that happens to be real and legit. Kelly says, amen. Lamar's phone says, joined March 8th and already doubled my money. I'm just a rider. No one joined through me. Thanks. Lamar, have you sold any? I want you to sell a handful of those. It's not real until you put meat on the table, cash in your bank, until you spend a couple bucks to make your life better. That's what money is, a tool designed to do. Get you connected with the things that you want in that life, whether it's to go fishing on Saturday or to buy somebody that's important to you, something special, or to take yourself out for a nice dinner. Unless and until you do that, it's not real. So go sell a handful and have a great day. Okay, continuing on, a couple more here. How much hash rate is required to run Texit Coin today? Please explain and include how the difficulty is set since you are the only allowed miner. Well, we have two mining pools. First of all, anonymous attendee, and very little hash rate is required to mine. Like when we started out with like a desktop PC. We are running now at 500,000 mega hash plus or minus, and we're in a position now where if we shut off most of that, the mine wouldn't run. So I couldn't tell you exactly what the number is of absolutely required based on the current difficulty level. The current difficulty is actually set by Litecoin. Because we're merge mining Litecoin, we don't get to pick the difficulty, the Litecoin network does. And all of that is posted for you to see on explorer.texitcoin.org. iPhone says, never thought I'd hear myself say, I don't have enough meat on my bones again. Brandon says, I donated a mine to a family that has a daughter that is fighting cancer. That's a terrible shame. He sees the amazing potential now and is blown away that no one has ever shown him this. I told him that I could give him $1,000 or $4 a day for 137 years. He was shocked there was anything like this. He is drowning in medical bills, and I think this just received a lot of stress. Go Texit Coin, baby. Yeah. Look, we all define, wealth, happiness, and money lots of different ways. For me, being wealthy is the ability to go out and do whatever I want whenever I want without having to check my bank account balance first. If I want to take my wife out to dinner right now, I'll take her anywhere she wants to go. We're not buying $8,000 bottles of wine. That was never our thing. But I know that if I want to go have a nice steak dinner with my wife, I can. And that to me is wealthy. That to me is wealthy. I don't gamble. I don't have any kind of vices that I know about. I just want to have a good time and not have to look at my bank account before I do that. That's what wealthy is to me. That's how I define it. That's what I'm going for, and that's what I want you and everybody else to have as well. What do you say to XRP or Bitcoin maxis that see this as an inferior crypto option? That's a really good one because I like to remind the Bitcoin maxis that the objections and the skepticism and the snarkiness that they bestow upon us is the same thing the whole world did to them 10 years ago. Like I can gauge a Bitcoin maxi based on when they got in. Like, okay, if you got into Bitcoin in 2011, I take my hat off to you. Like I didn't even know about Bitcoin until like 2012. So if you got in back then, yeah, I get it. But if you showed up in like 2019 and you're a Bitcoin maxi, like, come on, bro. People laughed at Bitcoin back then. I remember selling cold storage coins at a table in Singapore at the Singapore Coin Fair. We launched cold storage coins like officially to the public at that coin fair. And I think it was like March 28th. And I'll never forget people picking it up, looking at it, and laughing. Dead, it's over, pump and dump, it's gone, 20,000 down to 3,000. So I kind of remind those guys, like, come on, man, like we're new, we're just getting started, but don't shrug us off, don't blow it off. Like we're trying to pick up where you guys left off. You guys checked out, you got rich, you handed over control to the mega banks and the foreign nations, and we're just trying to do what you set out to do originally. Disrupt the money system, put money back in the hands of the people. Why would you be negative about somebody that's doing that? So I would remind them that the world laughed at them once too. Take it easy on us. I tried to call the number today. It's listed on the site and it just kept dropping. I have some questions that want to get up and mining. Is there a different number that I can call? Yeah, no. There are like 8 phones around here, and I don't know when the last time any of them were plugged in and charged. Look, we'll have a real customer service team here at some point, but we really don't want one. And we don't want one because you got to remember that crypto is a community driven thing. And so I don't want to put together a 200-person call center, helping everyone remember their passwords and restore their keys and do all that. Like, I want you to use the community to learn that stuff. And so, of course, if you're trying to join and you've got challenges, we want you to go back to your sponsor. And we've got lots of great team support people out there. Jake, Raina, Samantha, Mandy, Rupasi is a new addition to our team. We've got a great growing Indian leg now. So there are a lot of people out there that can help, that are paid to help you out. But I really don't want you depending at all on me for that stuff. Or the little staff that we've got here internally, because we just don't have enough resources to service the needs of 9,500 miners today. And that's a little rough, but it means that when the phones are ringing off the hook, we need you to email or work with the community to find the answers to the questions. The encouragement is check the mission control manual, check the help desk, check the Telegram community, check your sponsor, check with the Texit Ranger. And if that doesn't work, then reach out to the office on one of the emails that we maintain. Phone calls get answered every once in a while. But no, there's not a number that's better. Please don't call me. Not that I don't want to talk to you, but I'm not very nice. Okay, next questions. Let's see if we can get through these. It's 7:18. James says, wow, this was the one that you needed to record. I know, right? People need to hear what you just said. No one could have said it like you did tonight. Bummer. Oops. Somebody, Hansel, says, oh, they even put a pronunciation in. Thanks, Simmer Hansel. I thought that you had said if you order a mining share directly, remember, we don't call them shares, we call them seats. It's not stock. Directly from your dashboard, it would be $50 off. No, I could be wrong. You are. I finally have figured out how to buy TXC via the PayPal option as a test. You need more documentation on the process since it is very confusing. Yeah. So look, it goes like this. If you're buying for you or updating your power, you got to pay retail. If somebody gives you money that wants to sign up, you can add them through your back office. And for that, we give you a 5% discount, right? That's what we call a peer payment. And it's very easy to do. You can pay for it right there through USDT or USDC or even Texit Coin. We take our own currency, of course. We always are going to take our own currency. We trust it more than anyone else does. Please use it to pay for your new miners. You need more documentation. You're absolutely right, Simmer Hunzel. We are getting there quick. Peter says, good evening, Bobby. First question, how does TXE stay outside of the laws of securities? The old security question. Secondly, what is the current use case and utility for new miners to know about? And what is the future use case and utility? Okay, there's a whole bunch there. We're going to go very quickly through the first one. Securities law. I don't know what the securities laws are. I am not a securities lawyer. I've never consulted with a security lawyer. I am not going to consult with a security lawyer. What I tell people is that we filled out the same forms that Bitcoin did. They've already said that Bitcoin is not a security. Bitcoin is an asset, right? So we're just like Bitcoin, period. We're just like Litecoin. We're a clone of Litecoin. So I don't think that we are security. Now, what about the network marketing thing? What about the commissions? We don't need any licensing or permits or registrations for doing an affiliate program, right? We're not really a network marketing company because we're not a pyramid and it's a one-time fee. So we fall into like this really weird, I'm not sure thing. If you're concerned, then I need you to go to talk to the securities lawyer. I need you to go talk to the tax experts, right? If you think that this is outside of your risk threshold, then I need you to make a good decision and not get involved. I am not asking for permission from the same people that have destroyed our dollar to do what I am doing today. Let me record that and make this clear.
Recording in progress.
There we go. I am not going to ask for permission from the people that have worked diligently for the last 112 years to destroy the value of the dollar, to put the control of the issuance of money back in the hands of people. Period. It's not going to happen. I'm not planning on dying on this hill either. Again, like we talked about before, it's the same thing with the Liberty Dollar. Look, there's a way to do honest money that keeps you out of jail. Keep your hands clean. Do what you say you're going to do. There's plenty that's illegal about fraud, and anybody that commits fraud should go to jail. But there's nothing illegal about honest money. There's nothing illegal about barter. There's nothing illegal about trade. There's nothing illegal about community currencies. There's nothing illegal about gold and silver. There's nothing illegal about crypto or Bitcoin. But if the securities experts, and the three-letter agencies want to reach out to me later and send me a nasty gram that I will eventually have to hand off to some legal experts of my own, and we'll let them deal with it and pour it over the next 10 years. Once this whole thing's done and built, so be it. But I'm not going to ask for permission from the people that have systematically destroyed the dollar to put the control of money back in our hands, period. End of recording. I guess we
Recording stopped.
That'll be all we get out of tonight's call. Number two, sorry, you had a second part of that question. Yeah, so it goes like this, right? What we tell people for utility is very simple. We're picking up where Bitcoin left off. That's it. You remember Bitcoin? You heard of that? Digital, decentralized, peer-to-peer currency? Yeah, that's Bitcoin. Read the white paper. It's on the front page. Today, Bitcoin is digital gold. Almost nobody uses it as money. If you want to send money, digital money, you're sending USDT or USDC. Anything other than Bitcoin, because it takes too long and it's too expensive. So we're doing the job that Bitcoin forgot. Okay, now that's number one. Number two, utility in the future. Phase two for us is community currencies. That's my background. That's the part that I know I can do really, really, really well. This other stuff that we're doing now is all kind of foreign to me. I happen to be pretty good at it. It's working well, but we're going to get into community currencies. Now, well, that's stupid. Those are too small. Well, hold on a second here. What do we have to be to become a top 100 crypto? Well, we got to have $1 billion value. Not really $1 billion. You can get on the list less than $1 billion, but we're shooting for $1 billion value. Now, McKinney is the largest downtown cultural district in the state of Texas. There are 300 members of the Texas Downtown Association, small municipalities all across the state. McKinney is the largest. We happen to be in McKinney. What a coincidence. Now, if we can launch a community currency in McKinney, and we can identify our economic impact by measuring the amount of cash that's sitting in the bank account backing up the local stable coin, great. We're shooting for a $5 million per city average. $5 million times 300 cities across Texas. And remember, you can have a community currency anywhere in the world. There are community currencies all over the US today that would love to be built on a Made in America blockchain. But if we can put $5 million on average in the bank, backing up a local community currency, which is small money, tiny money, and you multiply that by 300 communities, it's $1.5 billion. We're going to charge half of the interest that they pay out. Approximate payout of interest is 4%. We'll charge 2% to manage those programs. It's a lot of money just in community currencies in a segment of the market that nobody is even thinking about. We can be a top 100 crypto for our layer 2 through community currencies. Money is the biggest utility out there. Number one by a long shot. The one that nobody seems to care about anymore. Well, I didn't stop caring about it, and I never will. I believe that money is the root of everything that we're dealing with today. I believe that dishonest money is the reason for every problem that we have in civilization today. Does it fix everything? No. But at least it gives us a level playing field on which we can deal with each other, find solutions to problems that we're having. The money's dishonest, all bets are off. We need honest money, guys. Hi, Bobby. Can you still swap bullion for Texit Coin? Sure, of course. Get in contact with the office. We're happy to help. Ron says, can you briefly touch on WTXC and when it will be live? We already talked about that. And the answer is sometime this week, maybe tonight, probably tomorrow. What does $1,000 buy? $1,000, $995 buys you one seat on the rocket ship. Remember, it's not a share. It's not an investment. It's a highly speculative, highly risky thing that you should not do unless you are absolutely comfortable putting that money to work. Rest assured that me and a lot of great people like me are going to work hard every day on our mutual success. But it is a risk that you should be comfortable taking. The lights go out tomorrow. What happened to my light? That's what it gets. It gets you one seat on the rocket. Now, of course, you don't have to buy a seat on the rocket. You can buy a handful of Texit Coin, which is totally fine as well. Steve says, my brother, thank you. Do you need any help at corporate? Steve, look, we're trying to get settled, right? We got a hiring freeze right now. We've brought 30 people on in just the last couple of weeks. It's a bit of a circus. We're working through it. Check back in a couple of weeks once we get moved into our new offices. Ricardo, hey man, your name has been mentioned a couple times so far for the Texas Ranger program. Ready for a great evening with you tomorrow. Yeah, man, don't forget baseball tomorrow night at Frisco Rough Rider Stadium. We'll have extra tickets. If you didn't get one, show up. We'll figure it out. Zoom user, what percentage of mines are sold? We're 4%. Valerie says, do you have any safeguards set up if there are any flash floods, tornadoes, manipulated weather incidents that could affect your mining operation? We're dealing with that through diversification. So our goal is to have 35 sites scattered across the state so that, we're on different parts of the grid. Look, if for some reason some catastrophe happens and we're down, we're going to have bigger fish to fry than what we're dealing with in regards to keeping the network online. Jeff says, maybe I missed this. What is asset that this business is based on? Some projects have a technology, for example, the technology, the credentials, the licenses that allow POS systems to transact with crypto. Yeah, Jeff, good question. Nothing. We don't have some revolutionary newfangled tech that processes blockchain transactions, 30 trillion gigawatts per. We don't have it. There's nothing revolutionary about our technology. That's by design. We didn't want to come up with some newfangled thing that wasn't going to work. Everybody remember EOS? Remember that thing? We're using tried and true technology, and we're just focusing on the mission. The mission is honest money. The part of the crypto thing that most of the other crypto bros forgot when they got rich. Good for them. I hope they're enjoying their boats, their super yachts, their hypercars, all that stuff. But we've got a job to do. And so the answer to your question, if I remember your question, is no, we don't have any kind of snazzy technology that we have to worry about for reliability. But the asset is built on our people. Our people and our vision, mission, strategy are what drive us forward. Brian K says, is there any way to buy hash besides Texit USDT, USDC, PYUSD, peer? Looking at the website, it looks like I can buy with debit or credit. No, you can't. Look, there are a lot of great people out there. We call them peer payment people. You can connect with one of those guys and they can help sort it out for you. But as far as the main office is concerned, we exclusively accept crypto and precious metals, real money. Steven says, I got in back in November and said I'd be happy with my one seat and just sit back and let it grow. I'll never sell anyone on this thing. I now have 9 sponsors and my hash is 2,000. It works. Thanks, Steven. I appreciate you. Ricardo says, it's happening now. I don't know what you're talking about. People were regretting not starting 2 months ago. Yes, it's already happening now, but that's okay. Look, guys, most important thing, it's not too late. It'll never be too late for you to join us. Even if you get the last seat on the rocket ship, there's still a tremendous upside. Why? Because it's going to mine out for another 136 years, because you can sell your mining seat later if you like, because you have the ability to participate in a community and have a great time. You can get educated through this thing. There are a lot of benefits to becoming a miner. And so it'll never be too late, right? It's kind of too late with Bitcoin. You can get in, you can make 20%, 30%, but you're not going to 100 extra money. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to 100 extra money here. In fact, I think you'll do much better than that, especially if you roll up your sleeves and help. But it's much riskier. Do it only if you're comfortable taking that leap, as I've said a number of times. Steven's back to say, I got in back in November. Wait. We read that already. Texit Freedom, remember, you miss 100% of the shots you never take. That's my buddy Chris Beck. He's the top earner at a deal. He sent me a private message earlier today. You know what he said in that private message? He said, you know what? You tell us to hold you accountable. I'm going to send this message to you privately, so I don't have to have it come up on tonight's call. But you really need to do a better job with your reimbursement. And he's right. We just built a new reimbursement system in there. So if you've got an expense, then we'll have it calculated there. The thing about the reimbursements through the website is that they go into our proof system. So like if you take everybody out for dinner, then we want to ding that against a marketing expense. Well, if you take it off of your peer payments, then it doesn't do that. So the system's built. I haven't looked at it yet. And I know a lot of people are getting pissed. And the reality is that I control the keys to the wallets. I haven't given out wallet access to anybody. The last thing I want to do is I want to wake up and find out that somebody that we hired emptied a wallet. Boom, project's over, the end. Now we've got reserves and our reserves are diversified. So it's not game over if somebody steals. But man, I really don't want that to happen. It's too easy in crypto. And we had problems all the time with gold and silver manufacturing, silver disappearing all the time. And so I'm very hesitant to let go of the keys, right? But I do have to pay out those reimbursements. Thanks for reminding me earlier today, Chris. You can always hold me accountable in public. That's why we have these calls together. Why do you need so much horsepower? Each block size is limited by the software of just one miner can process each block. Good question. So we picked a number that was big, 100 million mega hash or 100 million horsepower. That number is extremely large. It registers in the global crypto conversation. So we want our mine to be big enough to be noticed around the world, but not so big that it's growing indefinitely and using up all the power. That's what Bitcoin is today. They're talking about adding nuclear reactor after nuclear reactor just to make an extra couple dollars per day until China adds 10 more and takes it all back. It's a zero-sum game. Not with Texit Coin. We set a size that's big, and that's it. So we want it to be big enough for the world to admire, not so big that it's using up too much power and being so inefficient. EV says, awesome, thank you so much. Steven says, does the sign up have a where did you hear about us? It does. But we don't ask for advertising because most of the signups are from our referral program. Everyone that's a miner goes into the tree. So if somebody sees us on a billboard, they can't go in and like bypass the affiliate program. We will put them on a team somewhere that will have the most benefit for that person. Oh, where are you living? Oh, I live in Austin. Great. We'll connect you with the Austin team. So we don't really care how they heard about us. We know that everything is working right now, but we're not really tracking it so that we can make better decisions, but we might start doing that in the future. Are your miners strictly in one location and where are multiple locations? Look, Mark, we were in one location, but miners are shipping out every day now from the office to make us decentralized and powerful and reliable. Zasta, I don't want to build. How is it bought outright? You can buy it right now on Bitmart or on DexTrade. or connect with somebody that's a Texit Coin miner and buy it off them. Dave says, today the president signed a new pro-crypto legislation. How does that help? I think that's about stable coins. I don't really know. We're not a stable coin. Stable coins are asset backed. We're not an asset backed coin. That's by design because we don't want to be in a position to have to keep some assets safe in order to have a legitimate thing. Our asset is our community, just like Bitcoin. And so I don't think that legislation affects us, but it might have some sort of effect on the layer 2 stuff with the community currencies. All that money is going to be kept in local credit unions. Can you explain if taking hash power for daily payout and commission is beneficial? Lynn, that's a long game versus short game kind of question. Holy crap, we got like 50 questions to go. Yeah, look, short game versus long game. Taking cash commission is, like Raphael says, like money sooner rather than later. If you like the project, you think we're heading in the right direction, then you get 2 for 1 when you do the hash power upgrade. If you are familiar with monetizing the coin on the open market, then I think the hash power is the way to go. But that's a decision that you have to make for yourself, and you can make it every week. You can change it whenever you want, but you have to decide before Wednesday or Saturday at 7 o'clock. Where can I get Texit in t-shirts and caps? Seems like a good conversation starter. It is. Check with Davy Jones and some other people in our group. Larry Wood is making a lot of that great stuff, but reach out on the Telegram chat group and you'll find it easy. Jeff says, maybe I missed this. What is the asset that this business is based on? We already talked about that. Thaddeus, hi, Bobby. Can I help you with recording this call if you want? Michaela has enough email action with me to get me. It's pretty easy for us to record this. I just forgot to hit the button. Lisa says, I love the transparency shared here tonight. Would love it if you could record your response for Rug Pulls Network Marketing Ponzi and make it available for us. Yes, I will. Thank you. Peter says, good evening. First question, how does TXC stay outside of the laws and securities? We talked about that. What is the current use case? We already talked about. Gauges of a phone. What's the wrap Texit Coin correlate with the price of Texit Coin, or does it? Man, that's an interesting question. It's an interesting question because I don't know how that works. We would have to set up our own market maker to support that the same way we do with Texit Coin on Bitmart. But, I don't know if the two are going to be correlated. Dextrade and Bitmart aren't correlated, but could be. I think we're just going to let the market do what the market wants to do, and then let the bots and the arbitrage kings, make profit off the difference. Anonymous Tenny says, so the wrap Texit is different from the regular Texit. They're the same thing. They're just wearing different clothes. Yes, you'll be able to buy either one. It gives you the same exact thing, just on a different network. It's like you can send Ethereum on Base. You can send Ethereum on Ethereum, the Ethereum network. You can send it on Binance, Smart Chain. You can send it on Polygon. It's the same coin, just different network. What about the question from 702? I don't know. Can you answer that? What was the question from Anonymous at 702? 709, 707, 703, 702. Anonymous, why do you need so many hash power? Yeah, I already. All right, let's keep going. Oh man, it's a lot of work here. I'm gonna have to start hiring people to jump in and answer these questions so that we can get through these calls in less than 2 hours. What about the question from Anonymous? Will the Texit alert eventually take you to the Texit app when you click on it? Maybe. I'm in a big fight right now with those app developers. Not a fight, but my app doesn't work. I had to switch back to the desktop because my TXC wallet app doesn't work. So I'm pretty pissed at these guys. And we've got a couple different teams working on a couple different projects. Those guys are by far the worst. It used to run great, and then they set it up so the price goes in there and updates and the history updates, and now it's just slow. So we're working through it. Hi, Bobby. I want to thank you personally for Texit Coin. I'm in the ICU with my husband who had open heart surgery a couple of days before. I was able to make the money to cover the hotel and all the necessities while I'm 3 hours from home. This week, I maxed out the comp plan again while caring for my husband. It means so much to have this opportunity to take the weight off my shoulders. My upline, Thomas and Andrea, helped me to get this items done. No excuses, just gratitude. Thanks for sharing that. My heart hurts for your husband. I hope that he has a quick recovery. And I'm glad to hear that the work that we've been doing has had a positive impact on your life. Thank you. What is that link again? Explorer.texitcoin.org, Stacy. You can find it on the texitcoin.org homepage under resources. Joe says, hey, Bobby, I just received an Ethereum coin, which is good. I understand what to do, but I have some others who received a coin with no name, not sure what to tell them. So you're saying you have others who received a coin with no name, so not sure what to tell them should they contact support. There's a bunch of coins now that go out in the envelope. One of these days, we're going to put like a letter in there explaining what those things are. But you should be getting your Texit Coin wallet if you don't have it already, an Ethereum coin, which is what we will pay out your USDC commission to, unless you modify your payout settings, which we suggest so that it goes directly into like your Coinbase account or preferably your MetaMask or your hot wallet or cold storage wallet. The coins work great. The coins work really great. You just have to know how to use them. I'm not sure what coins they might have gotten, so have them email shipping@mindtxt.com. Hi, Eric. Texit Coin app has been one of the best-selling tools I've ever had. Once I show it to someone, they want to be a part of it. Thanks for the awesome tools. Yeah, it's a little clunky today. Maybe it's just me. I've got like 58 wallets in there, so that's probably why it lags. So what is the wrap different? Blah, blah, blah. We've talked about the wrap. Also, how can I get a little extra help? I'm really trying to get my stuff together, but I'm struggling. Once I do, I have a large sphere of friends and contacts that I can make some good headway. Yeah, Neil. So a couple things. First of all, we want you to understand it because there's no way that you're going to go out and help us promote and build if you don't know what you're getting yourself into. If you don't understand it, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to help promote it. So we want you to do that. But keep an eye on the calendar. Like I asked Rob Reynolds, he's one of our Lone Star Rangers, if he would open up his office to us every month for a classroom style thing. We record those things. You've got lots of information back in the resources section of the back office. So there's a lot of it out there. We're trying to do a better job indexing all of it right now. In fact, if you go to the help desk, there's a new miner start here page that gives you kind of the Cliff's notes. So start there. Gary says, got my home miner, and today I haven't gotten it unboxed. Thanks for believing. Got you, Gary. Jack says, I qualify for a home miner, but deployed in Gen for 9 months. Should I get one anyway? Of course you should. Let it sit there. Let it churn out some extra Litecoin for you. Dr. Breakthrough, what's going on, man? Long time no talk. I was asked, are you able to find out if Texit Coin is in compliance? It's applicable with the info contained in this link. Strategies today, blah, blah, blah. No, I will check that later when I have time. Yes, you got the name right. Yeah, well, thanks for the pronunciation key. Appreciate that. Miner. Great Zoom. Would love for you to record this again and make it available. It really was a great Zoom, man. I'm bummed out. I'm on my phone. That's why I didn't record. Isn't it illegal to sell 100 megahash mining shares that you don't provide? You've sold far more mining than what you have. It is not a pre-sale or a back order. Isn't that fraud? No. There's nothing wrong with cloud mining. There's nothing wrong with data center mining. So what we do, there are 3 parts to the mining. Number 1 is we buy the mining hardware. Number 2 is we get the mining hardware, which is very difficult thanks to new duties and whatnot. Number 3 is we install it. And so we'll have each one of those charts for you on the website. We've got 2 of the 3 now, but we want you to see exactly how much we've purchased. We want you to see how much we've sold, and we want you to see what our current hash rate is. Your job is to watch those charts and make sure that our current installed hash rate is growing. If you've tuned in for a while, you know that we're working diligently right now on getting our Victoria location prepped so that we can drop our BC40 immersion cooling container in there. We've got a ways to go. It's hard work. I know why everybody does it the easy way, but no, it's not illegal. Fraud's illegal. This is not fraud. Great performance tonight, Bobby. Solid call. My question is, when someone scans the billboards, who becomes the sponsor? We don't have a scan. Right now, the billboards are very, very vague. TXC, the price, our logo, mine, trade, spend, that's it. We just are doing basic brand awareness, right? So that when you're out there talking to people, they go, oh yeah, I saw the billboard. That's it. Now, if they find us, if they dig deep enough, they can find us and they can call and we will place them on a team that's going to help them be successful. I'm so glad I recorded most of this. Andrew, how did you record it? I want a copy of your recording. We are ready for mine here at the top of Texas and Amarillo. Great, Jordan. We'll get you one. Reach out to shipping@mindtxt.com. I'll take a seat and a QR code advertising on my vehicle. Please do, Henry. Let's go. Hi, Bobby. Is New Zealand getting mining rigs? No, they are not. Only in Texas for now. Old time my MLMer here. Wasn't going to get involved with anything as I am cool with my trading business. Dude, I am all in. Thanks, Steve. I will reach out to you as I want to help at the corporate and calls whenever you need. This is the final gig. Yes, it is. It's my final gig too. After this, I'm sleeping under a bridge or I am on the back of my yacht a couple miles off the coast of Monaco. Thank you, brother. That was a great call. Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, 2 more left. We're almost there. Thaddeus says, I was away from my computer and didn't hear you read what I said. Sorry, Thaddeus. You missed it, and I don't remember it. I have recorded this call, but it sounds like you did not understand me. I don't know what you said. I'm not going back to find it. Bobby, thank you for doing this work. I'm looking forward to sharing this in earnings to your return. I'm looking forward as well. Hey, guys, this is our longest call yet. I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. Look, anytime we have an opportunity to get together, learn, share stories, these experiences are incredibly important to share with each other, right? This is what it comes down to. We're not doing this just for fun. We're doing this with a purpose, right? If we get to leave the world maybe a little bit of a better place for our children, then we won, right? If we can have a good time and make some new friends and put some cash in our pocket along the way, even better, right? But the US dollar has been around since 1913. We've had 3 central banks here in the US. The first one crashed and burned. Andrew Jackson killed the second one. And now it seems like we're stuck with the third one. I think that digital currency is actually going to give that a real run for their money. But we have to be vigilant, because if we stay and let the Bitcoin bros be asleep at the wheel, then the big banks, the big money are going to just sweep it all up, take over control of it. We'll be left with a CBDC. We have to do this because it's our only shot at making sure that honest money has a real place in our society. That's what matters to me. That's why I'm doing this. I am going to get rich along the way. If you are not comfortable with me winning the most from Texit Coin, then you are on the wrong rocket ship. Build your own. There are lots of people out there that are doing other great things for freedom. This is the one that I've designed that means the most to me. I like this because so many other people are winning along with me. One of my favorite parts of this. If you want to be one of the people that wins along with me, then let's go. Roll up your sleeve, help me build. I put the dots out there. You and I have to connect them together. I got to follow through on my part. You got to do your part. Keep your coins safe, watch my back, and hold me accountable. That's Texit Coin in a nutshell. I'm Bobby Gray. I'm the guy that's lucky enough to call himself the founder and fearless leader of Texit Coin. And I thank you for sharing all your time with me this morning or this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. How many people are here today? We're down to 194. 110 people have given up. 193, 192. We're dropping like flies. It's time to go. Have a great night, everybody. We'll catch you again tomorrow night at the baseball game, where a Texit miner will throw out the first pick. We'll see you guys there. Good night.